Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have a very, very serious topic. We cover big-time shit on this channel. A lot of you guys, okay, you ask some silly little questions like, oh, what's the One Piece? Oh, what's the Void Center? Who's Emu? Who cares? Because today, we're talking about Bogard.
He didn't do anything.
Can you shut the f*** up?
All 5 Bogard fans, when God Valley finally ends and he doesn't get any feats. There's 4 more of us? Wait a minute, there's 6! Hey, see if there's the number higher than 6. 8! There's dozens! Bogard has fans. Let's see, who posted this? What kind of loser would... Oh. Isn't that convenient? The guy that posted Bogard hate is gone. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the GOAT, the sleeping beast of the Marines, Bogard. And we know a ton about Bogard. I have a lot to talk about here, so be prepared. Bogard, the strongest swordsman in the Marines, or at least I believe that's what we were told, or one of the strongest. From a power scaling standpoint, I know a lot of people like to joke about him, but doesn't he have to kind of be close to Rayleigh when you think about it? Because at God Valley 38 years ago, right, which for him to be there and looking like that in the first place, I need to get into in a second here, but he was there in his prime, or if he's still in his prime, we don't actually know his age. We know he's at least 38 years old. He was there all the way back there when the Roger Pirates were there. He has to be, as the second with Garp, kind of on that same level as Roger back in the day, and Rocks with Whitebeard. Has to be somewhat close. Now, from a rank standpoint, again, we don't actually know. I've heard a lot of people throw out theories that he's probably a rear admiral, and I don't really agree with that. I think he has to be a vice admiral at this point because, again, look at this picture, okay? And now look at this picture. What do you see? I see the same damn guy. I thought Bonnie has the age fruit. What does he have? The eternal youth? Know me? I mean, I have no clue how that's possible. But he's got to be at least 55, right? That's assuming he was 17 in God Valley, which, if he's 17 in God Valley, already there with Garp, he's got to be really strong. But at some point, he would have to be a Vice Admiral. Garp is currently 78 years old. 27 years ago, when Garp had his meeting with Kong about wanting to get him promoted to being an Admiral, of course, Garp said no. Bogard was there, so he's been a second-hand man at least 27 years, and in God Valley, we know he was at least there. And in the flashback clip, he's right next to Garp. So it would make sense that he's already his right-hand man at what? 17, 18? Assuming he doesn't have a Devil Fruit, which he probably doesn't. But I will say, Oda does need to answer some questions about why he looks the exact same. Like, what's his skincare routine? I don't know. But I need to find out. Yeah, man, I think he's got to be close to Rayleigh. I really do. And some people might not like that, but I think it makes just a ton of sense from, hey, the second strongest on the crew. So I touched on how strong I think he is. I touched on his age, which is quite a mystery. That's a weird one, because I remember when I thought about that, I was just driving on the road, and I went, wait a minute. How old is Bogard? We don't actually know. And I went on Reddit, some other people were talking about it, and I was like, okay, it's not just me. Someone also went, hey, what's happening here, man? And now we get on to the long list of Bogard accomplishments. Well, hey, don't forget. Who could forget? You're probably thinking it. You're yelling it at me when he cut Kobe's swords up like that in like an instant. I mean, that was cool. We've seen him hit some poses. We've seen him walk into some rooms menacingly, always wearing that 3-piece suit and that fedora, which is a really cool look. It looks like he hasn't gained any weight or anything, and 38 odd years, because I'm pretty sure he's wearing the same one at God Valley. Hey, if you have a look and it's a good look, why change it? It's classy, it's timeless, and again, Vice Admirals, I guess we see Rear Admirals. Isn't Hina a Rear Admiral? She's wearing his suit all the time. I could be wrong about that. And so it would make sense for him being a Vice Admiral wearing a suit all the time is kind of the point I'm getting at here. And he was, in other accomplishments, the guy that helped train Helmeppo and Kobe now, of course, Captain Kobe, the Rocky Port incident, Hachinosu, Amazon Lily. Kobe's very relevant, and I would like to give Bogart a lot of credit for that, because when we saw Kobe originally, he was very weak and now he's very strong. So clearly Garp and Bogard had some impact. And another one of Bogard's accomplishments, this one I forgot about, which is just on me. I'm sure we all know. He was the first to do the thing with the sword where he just kind of like undoes it and puts it back and just magically cuts someone. He was the first guy, which is very cool, very cool. And at this point, you might be thinking, and will we see Bogard in the future? Quite a big question. A lot of people might laugh and say no, but I genuinely think we may actually see him because he was in the live action, like, a decent amount. And sure, I know that was East Blue, where we did see him with Garp many times, so it makes sense. But Oda and Matt Owens did not have to do that. They basically kicked Don Krieg out of the Baratier, so clearly they were kind of messing around, doing what they want, and he was in there. And he was in the God Valley flashback. We covered that. He did not at all. We would not have wondered, hey, where's Bogard in the God Valley flashback? Because we thought he would have been too young. So I think he could be here in the future. And I know that Kobe is the future of the Marines. Garp has kind of said that himself. But damn it, why isn't the future now? It could be Bogard. I mean, he's kind of gotten potentially kicked to the side. We don't know for sure yet. We just think he probably has because the God Valley flashback is over, and then we don't really see him in the current story. Hachinosu's a moment where he could have showed up, and the question has been asked, and it's a fair question. Why did Bogard not help Garp at Hachinosu? I think the reason he didn't help was because Garp said, hey, I need everyone to help evacuate and stay on the ship, and Bogard is someone that follows orders. Now, I would have loved to see him try and go help or maybe stop Shiryu. That would have been an amazing moment, right? Tries to go at Kobe, Garp steps in the way. Maybe Bogard goes in and blocks it. That would have made so much sense. Swordsman on swordsman. But I think for some reason Oda needs it to be relevant that, hey, Garp is in trouble and he needs that for something. But speaking of Kobe and Marines that are potentially getting kind of kicked to the side because of him, we don't know what's going on with Bogard. We also don't really know what's happening with Smoker. Now, if you have any opinions, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear what you think is Smoker's current role in the story, if any, moving forward. But this is kind of what I think he's falling into the trap of a lot of characters, which I guess makes sense, right? There's so many characters, some of them already get kicked to the wayside that eventually they just kind of become irrelevant. Like, he provided something, and then we don't really need him anymore. Kind of like Kid. Now, you may think by this video that all my videos are kind of a joke or there's some humor aspect to it, but yes, the Don Krieg one, if you want to watch it, I'll put it at the end, maybe, or it's got another video at the end, was kind of a joke. The Captain Kidd video I made about him and Elbaf, that actually has some merit to it, right? Because Kid is in Elbaf, and he's probably alive because, you know, Oda doesn't really kill characters without telling us. He's probably in an Elbaf prison. That's where the Straw Hats are, so why couldn't the Straw Hats, like, see him in prison and go, he could be like, hey, help me escape and I'll help you fight the Gods Knights, kind of like Loki in the Underworld. Now, I don't want that at all. I'm just saying I do have some relevant, serious videos. There will be more, of course. And the last one I made, which I realized now that I made a mistake, I made a tier list ranking 120 plus One Piece characters on Drip. Why? I forgot to put Bogard in there, man. I feel kind of bad because you're telling me that guy right here does not have just massive drip. I mean, he's kind of rivaling Crocodile and Kizaru for me. But, yeah, Kid got kicked to the can because Kid doesn't make any sense to come back in the story for me, right? Like, he wanted to fight emperors, become king of the pirates, he failed. Kid's not a character that has a moral compass, cares about fighting the world government, so why would he come back? Same thing with Smoker. He introduced the Prism Stone, we kind of see a Logia. He chased Luffy, but now I don't really think he has that much of a role in the story. Kobe's been kind of deemed by Garp as the future of Marines and someone that's going to kind of dawn the new age of the Marines. I think you could argue Smoker is going to be kind of like that Fujitora level character where, okay, here's a good Marine that might help reshape the future. I can see that. Bogard, again, maybe he works with Kobe reshaping the future, rescuing Garp. I don't think I've touched on this yet. The rescue of Garp. I can see it happening, but not with, like, all of the major Marines. Would it make sense for Kizaru or another Admiral to get sent out or Akainu to go himself? I don't really think so, because although Garp is the hero of the Navy, right, the world government's got a lot going on. The Navy has a lot going on right now with all the food shortages happening at Marijua. And remember, Garp attacked Hachinosu unsolicited. He didn't have the approval from above that you need to have in order to fight an emperor, right? We saw that with Lucci and Egghead, and we saw Garp kind of say, hey, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to go rescue Kobe. I'm going to go to an emperor's territory. So who would be willing to go rescue Garp? Well, I think there are some characters, obviously. Bogard would be number one on the list. We'd have to see him do something there, right? Kobe, a lot of the members of Sword, Sengoku. That would make a ton of sense, right? Sengoku and Garp were very close for a long time. So that's a spot where we could see some Bogard action when the rescue of Garp happens, I hope. And I think he's kind of an enigma, right? From the early East Blue, there's really not many characters that we have known for a while that we think are really strong that we haven't delved that much into, right? Shanks was one of them. Lately, we've seen a ton from Shanks. We know who his mom is, we know who his dad is, we know where he was born, how he got to the Roger Pirates. We saw him even in Marijaw for a while, kind of being a devoted blade for a bit. And then we, of course, saw him in Elbaf recently. So we've seen a lot more about Shanks. Mihawk is kind of one of those characters where we've seen some, but not enough about the past. And Bogard's another one. We saw him in East Blue, and we don't really know. So what do you guys think? Do you like Bogard, or do you have any thoughts or opinions? If you'd like to watch any of my other videos that I've made, I'll kind of link them here or here, maybe. If you could subscribe, it would help a lot. Anyways, I appreciate y'all watching, and I will see you guys next time. I think I'm going to cover some of the One Piece movies next, potentially as the next video. We'll see. Or talk about the Holy Knights and how they're frauds. I don't know. We'll see. I'll see you guys next time.